This is part 3. Student loan recovery strategies by Helb. Are they working? According to Helb, in 2015, the level of non-performing loans, it was at 38%. That's a high level of non-performing loans. The total annual amounts recovered from past loans, they only cover 41% of the board's budget. So in the like, you need to loan this amount to the students. You need to have this budget to do your activities. For those two things, the amount coming in from previous loans, it only covers 41%. So where is the rest going to come from? The 59%. It's going to come from the government. Today, 53% of the Helb budget is funded by the government and 47% from loan recovery. So we can still see, even though they created a semi-autonomous body and increased the structures, they made it more formal, like Helb was through an act of parliament, so there was a lot of structures implemented and a lot of freedom given to them and a lot of skillful people employed, but the government is still funding a lot of it, right? It doesn't help have any strategies to recover debt. It does, and here are the strategies. Continued contact and follow up approach system. In this case, they text you like every time you remember you have a Helb loan. Helb is doing this, Helb is doing that, remember to pay your loan, all of those things. They have a tracking system to find like the status of the loan, how is it, who's supposed to pay, when are they supposed to pay. There's an early warning system, like this guy might not pay, be careful with this guy. There's the monthly default penalty, the 5,000 I think per month. Now that brought a lot of issues, and it still does, but it's one of the strategies they have chosen to use to prevent, to ensure that people to recover debt. Then there's the penalty waiver. So they have a monthly penalty and then they have a waiver for that same penalty. So that's another strategy for recovering debt. And then there's one mentioned by Beatrice Njeru in 2016, abandonment of projected interest in loans. And then there's listing defaulters in the CRB. And then there's government integrity compliance requirements. Like if you want to be an MP, if you want to be a president, you have to provide your Helb certificates or something. So these are the strategies that Helb employs. But still, the government is funding 53% of its budget. So have these strategies been successful? And let's look at Isabella 2015. Isabella says that they have been successful because there's increased cooperation from employers to aid Helb recover its loan. Isabella also says that Helb has recovered most of its debts. Remember, from 3%, right, in 1995 to 57% in 2010, and right now they're talking about 80%. The revolving fund is not doing perfectly, but it's doing better than it was doing in the past. So Isabella cites that as a success. There is increased funding to cover more students. Remember, it has increased from not just government-sponsored students to self-sponsored students, and it has also increased to other tertiary institutions besides universities, and it has also increased to private universities. So there's a lot of success to talk about based on these strategies. But there are a bit of issues, because the guys who signed Helb back in the day, like during my time, they did not know that there would be a penalty of 5,000 bob every month if they defaulted. Another problem that was cited, that I said it just in the past, right, in this monologue, was that educating the beneficiaries back in the day, they weren't educated on what the obligations were and the benefits of repaying. Like, And that also happened during my time. Guys were not told that 5,000 penalty would be put on their help if they fail to pay for whatever reason. If they fail, or let's say if they fail to pay for that amount. So before somebody gets into something, you need to educate them about it. And we haven't been educating people about it from the beginning. So anyway, I want to focus on monthly penalty for a bit. So somebody called Kiplimo Sirma, he investigated the monthly payment and student loan recovery. Like, is there a correlation between the two? Or is it just something useless that Helb is putting? Let's say a punitive measure against the students. So he actually found a significant association between monthly default penalty and loan recovery. That means that having a monthly penalty is an incentive for people to pay their loans. Yes. So it's highly unlikely that it will go away anytime soon, or if it will ever go away. I would have loved for somebody to research about the legality of that penalty, but I don't think people have started searching about that. I personally believe that it's illegal because nobody was told about that from the beginning. Okay, so anyway, Kiplimo, he also found that monthly default penalty on defaulters was a significant deterrent of Helb loan defaulters. Same thing, just different words, right? If there is a penalty, a monthly one, it's highly unlikely for people will not default. But there's also something add to it. So there are loan collection approaches. This one was by Richard Maala in 2018. So what are loan collection approaches? Like texting you, telling you need to pay, tracing defaulters, where are you? Those are the loan collection approaches. And then there's sharing credit information. Like Helb would share with KRA, or would share with your other banks or with employers through the CRB and all of those other things. So he studied these two things: texting, tracing defaulters, sharing credit information. So what is the relationship between that and student loan recovery? There is a positive association between the two. And 61.8% of student loan recovery in Kenya is explained by that. By simply telling people that they need to pay back, by tracing them where they are, and by sharing credit information. 61.8%. So imagine if you focused on what was bringing in reducing the rate of default the most, instead of focusing on punitive measures like the monthly penalty. Yes, the monthly penalty works, but research shows that 61% of student loan recovery is explained by loan collection approaches and sharing credit information, not by monthly penalties. Something to think about. So anyway, let's look at now. We've gone into the part where we are examining these structures, right? These strategies, which one is working, which one is not working. And somebody did that back in the day. Her name was Beatrice Njeru, and this is what she found. The best performing factor are loan collection procedures, informing people that they need to pay, tracing people, defaulters, where are you, we've seen you, you need to pay, right? That was the best performing factor when it came to recovering loans. The second best performing factor is the penalty waiver, not the penalty, but the penalty waiver, right? The third best performing factor is government integrity compliance. Like, people want to be MCAs, there's some jobs that you need a Helb certificate and all of those other things. So that's the third best performing factor. The fourth best performing factor is listing in the CRB, listing somebody in the CRB. The fifth best performing factor is the abandonment of projected interest. Like, if you remove all the interest from their loan, or some of the interest, right? So you can see the top 5 best performing factors, none of them is the monthly penalty. So why is there a focus on the monthly penalty? Why are we punishing people so much? Perhaps it's the penalty waiver at number 2. So you punish people so that they can wait for a waiver, and that waiver is the actual incentive for them to pay the Helb loan, the Kenyan government. So Isabella also says that there is a need to employ additional strategies to ensure maximum debt recovery. And this is what she says: pursue graduates working in the diaspora, pursue graduates who have ventured in the jua kali sector, and pursue graduates who have started their own businesses. Remember, 76% of the recovery back in the day was attributable to the government, people working in government institutions, and to teachers employed by the TSC mostly, right? 76%. So the problem was in the private sector. And so that's why Isabella is saying, focus on the jua kali sector, focus on those who have started their businesses, and pursue graduates working in the diaspora. So this seems like the strategies. And when you go to the jua kali people, right, will you go with the police force? Somebody has started his own businesses. Like, if locating him and telling him he needs to pay his loan actually works, it's 61.8% shown to work, right? Then why would you need to go to the police? You actually just need to identify him. But the use of threats is another strategy used by Helb. For example, in 2016, they said if your parent is a defaulter, you will only access your Helb loan, right, if your parent repays the loan. That's a threat. That's a generational threat to keep your family in poverty. Okay, away from education or away from something. So use the police to recover debts. That's a 2019 threat by Amina. And she says that she's targeting people who are working, right? From what I gather is that she's targeting people in businesses, jua kali sector, and rogue employers, because there are some employers who don't like sharing information with the government because it might mean they need to pay more taxes, they need to answer for a bit of more things, so they keep everything on the hush-hush, including their employees. So Amina knows what she's doing. It might seem to people that she's targeting the 26%, the private sector, where recovery is a bit difficult. And people, like, she's following, I think she'll follow Isabella's advice in the jua kali sector. Will you come with the police to the jua kali sector? And this threat is old. Like, there was a threat to keep student records forever. A student who commits a crime will keep the records forever, or is caught in some kind of funny situation, like drinking, orgies, and all those kind of things. Threatening your citizens, is that a good way when the statistics show that there are other ways of working, right? When none of the researchers shows that using the police or law enforcement is actually a way of doing things. Again, using the law enforcement is illegal because this one is a civil matter, it's not a criminal matter, so the police would not feature in. I think these guys should know that. So